Let's Achieve Change is a podcast by Pamela Grove, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Pain and Movement Specialist of Metanoia Education and Wellness Center. I propose to be that advocacy channel, making you aware, bringing the public more information on health and wellness topics, especially as it pertains to chronic pain and disabilities. I would like to be that voice for those silent sufferers out there who are not able to speak for themselves. If you'd like to know more about Let's Achieve Change, please visit our website at changeachieve.com or pamelagrove.com. If you'd like to be a speaker or you know someone else who wants to be a speaker, also visit the website and leave your email information and we will be in touch with you as soon as possible. Let's Achieve Change will air every 2 to 3 weeks, bringing you various topics on health and wellness and making the public more aware of issues that are not being discussed. We thank you very much for tuning in. Hello. Thank you for joining me today on Let's Achieve Change. I'm Pamela Grove, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Pain and Movement Specialist of Metanoia Education and Wellness Center. Listen, if you want to make some changes, you have tuned into the right podcast. Now listen, don't forget to hit that notification button so that you can subscribe and you won't miss any future episodes on some changes you might want to make. Welcome back, everyone. We will continue on our journey of autoimmune disorders. This is such a vast topic affecting millions all across the world, so it is worthy of several weeks of dedication. On the last 2 episodes, we had 2 guests coming from their perspective. One was a young lady of 28 who started her symptoms at a very young age. And then we had a RN who had to give up her administration duties because of how her disorder affected her. Today, we will bring on a guest, Jackie, who her story is also so very touching and worthy of listening in. She comes from the perspective of having 2 young children while she struggled with the dilemma of declining health and how she overcame and how she addressed her dilemma, period. Now, listen, we still have so much to do in the area of research of trying to figure out what's causing all these vast autoimmune disorders that are so prevalent. We do know that there are some genetic links. We're still trying to do research in the areas of environmental exposure. There's been links contributing to things that we eat. Since fast food is more prevalent than it was years ago, how different fibers of especially wheat has been changed over the years. Also, too, there is issues out there linking cosmetics, plastics, all type of things we might be exposed to as far as food concerned, as far as what we inhale in the actual chemical exposures. So there's so many things that's still being addressed, and we just really, be honest with you, we don't know. So since we don't know, we can't just come to the table and say, well, this is what we need to do resolve. So we're coming to the table to say, see, these are the things, some of these are helpful in helping to address the autoimmune disorders. So since I don't want to go into a whole lot more time, I want to have time for Jackie to bring about her perspective. So here is Jackie.
Hello there. Good evening. We have Jackie Upshaw with us today, and Jackie's going to also speak to her situation as being dealing with disability and chronic pain. The purpose of this interview is to try to expose as many people as possible to what a person typically goes through. I think most of the public's not aware, and so that's what this is all about. So, Jackie, before we dive into the questions, I first want to say thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. And
for having me.
Thank you so much. So before we dive into the questions, I want you to please go ahead and just tell us a little bit about when did you first get diagnosed and with your diagnosis, and what were you diagnosed with?
So I was first diagnosed in 2012, but I was ill I was diagnosed in 2011.
Okay.
And I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis and lupus.
Okay. Now, let's talk about that because you said that you were ill for a while and then you got diagnosed in 2011. So can you explain to everyone what you mean by you were ill? What were you experiencing?
So it just, let me go back. In 2003,
Okay.
I was pregnant with my daughter,
Okay.
and I had woke up and couldn't hardly move and
Okay.
all those things. And when I talked to the doctor, they said I had rheumatoid. It was rheumatoid arthritis, and they said that was strange because usually when you're pregnant, it helps it, but
Okay.
mine brought it on.
Okay.
Well, come to find out, it was some food that I had eaten. So I was thinking, well, so when these occurrences began again in 2011, because in 2004 I studied and changed my diet,
Okay.
and I was well. But
Okay.
in 2011, when these started, and the occurrences were stiffness, getting up just a little bit, little by little, just very stiff.
Mm-hmm.
And then the foods I ate, anytime I ate something, it hurt me
Mm-hmm.
to the point where I just didn't want to eat.
Okay.
And then I started getting wounds on my leg.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit because you tell us a lot of good information. So let's back up a little bit. So when you said that you were getting stiffness, was that in any particular joints that you were experiencing this stiffness?
In my legs,
Mm-hmm.
in my arms.
Okay.
I mean, it was slow for me to eat and for me to walk to the point where I was bedridden.
You were what? Say that again. You were what?
I was bedridden.
You were so it had got.
Get out of bed.
So did that happen quickly? Did that come on? You said it started in 2011. What's the?
It took about a year for it to get to that extent.
Okay, so let's back up because that's why it's like okay, all of a sudden you were doing fine and you were bedridden. So I'm trying to get a timeline a little bit better.
Okay.
So were you still working at this time?
No, actually, I had relocated to Georgia from another state,
Okay,
and like I said, it just slowly just started to decline. It started really with whatever I ate, I would start having pain.
okay,
And then it progressed to where I remember one day going to get my hair washed.
okay,
And the girl was so terrified because when she went to put the water on it to wash it, my hair started falling out in lumps.
oh wow, okay,
And I told her, I said, baby, it's just hair. You can just go on and cut it.
okay,
So, she had called her supervisor over and they went ahead and cut it. And mind you, I was seeing a doctor at a clinic because this was during the recession, the 2011, 2012 recession. And I wasn't working and I had planned to try to find a job here, but my health was declining.
okay.
Like I said, I was having trouble walking and so forth.
Okay, so let's back up because I'm starting to get a better picture now. So let's talk about. So you say you were seeing a doctor in the clinic. It looks like you were given a diagnosis. You said as early as 2003, but then you said you got better. So did you see someone in 2011 and got another confirmation on that diagnosis, or was other testing done? Can you talk more about that?
So in 2003,
Mm-hmm.
all I did was change my diet.
Okay, I got you.
And I got better after about 2 or 3 months.
Okay, okay. So there was no diagnosis at that time.
Right.
Okay.
I had no problem. But remember, the doctor said that I had rheumatoid arthritis.
That's what I'm asking you. So you did have a diagnosis? Okay, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead.
After changing my diet, it went away and I didn't have any more problems.
I got you. Okay. Okay.
Until 2011.
Okay. So in 2011, did you at that point, you saw other physicians, did they do more testing, or they had already got your records and they already had agreed that you had the RA? Is that?
So I had to see, eventually, I was able to see a rheumatologist.
Okay.
And that rheumatologist ran tests and found that I had lupus and rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay. So at that point then, so the diagnosis out there, did they start you on any particular regimen that you that you had to do something differently than you were doing before at that point?
So because I had this before, I started trying to change my diet.
Okay.
But they also gave me medication, and this is one of the things, they have to give you certain medications, whether it helps you or not,
Okay.
before they can go to the next stage of medication.
Okay. So like trials.
Particular medication, it was making me worse.
Okay. I got you.
Then they had me on other things, and I was also on steroids.
Okay. All right. So do you feel as if the traditional medical providers pretty much has helped you and kept you on target? Or do you feel at any time, have you ever heard the term gaslighting?
Yes.
Do you feel as at any point you were gaslighted during your whole process when you got diagnosis or when you started your journey with your regimen? Do you think at any point you had experienced that at all with traditional medical doctors?
Well, at one time, I was in the hospital.
Okay.
And there was this one physician. I was, you had to tell them what you're allergic to, what
Yes.
you have allergies to.
Yes.
And this time, part of my health issues was edema, along with the arthritis, because it was just so much stuff that just happened to me.
Right.
And when I was in the hospital, I told the doctor, I cannot take Lasix.
Okay.
And that particular doctor didn't believe me because that's what people use.
Wow. Yeah.
And he gave me Lasix.
Yeah.
I said, it cripples me. I can't even walk or get out of bed. And so I had to stay in the hospital longer until that was drained out of my system.
Yeah.
And I was able to be able to get up to and go to the bathroom again.
Yeah.
It was a different doctor that came to see me. You know how they have doctors do the rounds.
Exactly.
I said, I told him I couldn't take it. He said, I don't know why they would give it to you if you can't take it, but I'll take you off it.
Wow. Okay. All right. I'm sorry you experienced that. That's one of the things we want to try to get across in these publications, how medical professionals have to be better at listening to their patients, because sometimes they don't know everything. And so, we want to make sure we get that out. So, okay, let's go to the next question. I'm glad we got that out. So, can you speak to anything at this point, whether you already spoke to the fact that you said your what you ate could cause you to have more pain? Anything else do you feel anything else you might do that you can say you're responsible for your pain increasing?
Oh, yes. So one of the things I was on is steroids. Now, mind you, I told you that I did a lot of studying back in 2003.
Okay.
So I knew certain foods to eat, certain foods not to eat, and so forth. They helped me some, but not much. I was still having difficulty. But I was afraid to be on this steroid because I had heard so much stuff about
right.
And being on it over again. And I was on a high dose when I started.
Do you remember what that dosage was? Do you remember that dosage?
I was on 80 milligrams.
Wow. Okay, good. Wow. Okay.
But I needed that high dose at the time just to be able to get out the bed.
Wow.
And then, gradually I was able to taper it down. But I was on prednisone from 2011 until 2022, because we're in 24, until 2022.
Okay. So, already got so far, your diet made a difference in your pain level, changing the dosages on the steroids affected your pain level. Did you notice anything else that you did? Did any particular activity cause you to have more pain? Did you notice that at all?
What I was going to say is for me, all the medication, like I was saying initially, you have to go through what you call trials.
Right.
So if one doesn't work, then you go to the next one. And it's something about the medication that made it worse for me. But the prednisone is what works for me.
Okay, got you.
Because of my fear of it, I would take myself off of it sometimes.
I got you.
I would reduce it. And that's what happened with, I have a deformity in my hand.
Okay.
And I noticed that it started happening like that when I was taking the initiative myself to reduce the prednisone.
Okay.
And when I was back on it, I was doing good. And then there was another time that I reduced it and my hands got worse.
Okay. All right. So we know now that you have to be on a certain level for you, and we finally got you on the medication now that seems to be working Is that correct? Right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now I'm on Embro
Okay.
injections, and I'm not on any prednisone. I'm not on any steroids. I'm on Embro, but I still have to watch my diet.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So, as a person of color, do you feel as if you were ever, do you feel as if you experienced any differences in how you were treated at any point? Or did you notice that at all? If you did, that's good. But if you did, have you noticed anything like that of that sort?
I have not, but I had no one of any other color or anything to compare it to.
I got you. That's a very good answer. I like that. So, when you had your problems, I noticed you talked like you came from North Carolina and you went to Georgia and you was trying to, to get a job and your health was declining. So I think the listeners or the readers need to know, because I don't think they were aware of this, how much you probably have suffered many finances lost, maybe relationship losses, maybe a difference in your functional status, maybe your emotional status. Tell us some of those things that you lost as a result of your lifestyle changing.
Girl, self-esteem.
Wow. Yeah.
I have two small children at this time.
Wow.
And I want to say something that just needs to be known.
Okay.
Because I had two small children. I had a 11-year-old
Wow.
and a 6-year-old.
Okay.
And because I was getting a little bit of child support, they would not give me help.
Oh my God.
Any kind of, the clinic would not do it because if I had any kind of income.
Wow.
There's child support for my children, but they would not do it. And my doctor fought and called them. And now this is not, by this time I can't see the rheumatologist. I can only see the doctor at the clinic.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit because this is such important information. So, who was the one that was refusing to give you any support? Was it a city of Georgia or a town?
It's the county clinic. Every county
okay
has a clinic.
Okay, I got you.
And so it was the county clinic that you went to, and they could give you, I think it's Medicaid. That's
Okay.
what it was.
Okay.
But in Georgia, if you getting Medicaid is very strict for people.
Okay.
And because no income was coming to me, and they could see that I was sick.
Yeah.
And I would have to go up there, and my brother, because by this point I couldn't drive.
Okay.
And he would take me up there and help me get out the car and help me get in there and go before them. I looked like I was walking dead.
Wow.
I had lost so much weight.
Wow.
And eventually that lady saw me after so many interviews. She finally said, I'm going to give you 6 months, and after that you can't have any more.
My God.
And then it was the doctor at the clinic. I mean, not the doctor who had his practice. Then you could pay $30 and go in and see the doctor.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But that was separate from the county clinic where they would give you the Medicaid.
Okay. Okay.
She said, I'm gonna give it to you for 6 months, and after that, you no more.
So that was called cash assistance. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what that was called. Yeah.
I was able to get to see the rheumatologist.
Wow. That's crazy.
But the doctor that I was going to see that was fighting for me, that I was paying the $30 every time I went,
Mm-hmm.
he had a newer doctor at another hospital, and he referred me to that doctor because my wounds had opened up wide on my legs. And they think
that let's go back because our listeners don't understand that. So they think the wounds were coming as a result of the rheumatoid arthritis.
Yes, and the lupus.
And the lupus. Okay.
And I'm losing weight. By this time, I might be 103.
Oh my God.
Like that.
My God. Okay.
And very weak, anemic. And she said, Jacqueline, I don't charge patients who don't have insurance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he took me and they treated me until the wounds were closed.
That's what a blessing
He
is.
came in to see me. This went on for about 6 months.
Okay.
And he shook my hand and he said, Jacqueline, I'm not going to be able to see you anymore. And I said, oh my goodness. And I knew that my insurance was coming to an end. And he said, well, because your wounds are closed.
Wow.
Now, I have to say this. I have to say how good God is.
Yeah. Yes.
When he said that to me, my disability was approved like the next week.
Wow.
Or right during that time. But I want to back up when you were talking about how I felt. So with 2 kids, I worked for a great company, had great income.
Mm-hmm.
So I had never known anything about food stamps.
Right,
I
right.
had to go on food stamps.
Wow.
I had to send my children away in the summer back to North Carolina to take care of so that they could take care of my children while my family here was taking care of me.
Wow. Wow.
Out of school for the summer.
And how did that make you? How did that make you? Not to cut you off, but not to cut you off, but how did that make you feel?
It made me feel mentally. That's what I'm getting ready to say. My self-esteem, my image, okay. So you think one day my children come home from school and their mom is not there, and they tell them that their mom's in the hospital.
Yeah.
And she's okay. They're too young to come see her.
And, yeah.
And, when I get home, I have no hair. They watch me decline, and see my older son could see it more than my younger.
Right.
Just watch me decline.
Wow.
But my daughter now tells me, she says, "Mom, that was the most peace I ever had is when I was in North Carolina with my family, because I didn't have anything to worry about. Everybody was nice and kind and just loved them.
Right.
And I didn't have to be worried about you."
Yeah.
Excuse me, but mentally, it took a real
toll on you. Yeah, it's a toll on you. Right.
And when they came at the schedule, my son, he was in middle school, so he could lift me up. If someone could lift me up, then I could use my walker to make it to the bathroom, kitchen, wherever I was going.
Wow.
But I was so thin, they had to stack pillows because I was just bones, and anything I sat on was sofa, chair, anything, it just hurt me.
So why were you losing the weight? Did they have identified that? What was causing you to lose the weight?
Even now, in certain medications, they tend to attack my bones.
I got you.
And one of them was methotrexate.
Yeah.
And I mean, the weight just falls off. And another one was, I forget the proper name they call these medicines. I think it starts with a B, but they do it when you have high cholesterol.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to think of it. Not Lyrica, no, right? Is it Lyrica?
No. I can't think of the name.
That's okay. Okay. Yeah.
There's some that are cholesterol that hurt and some that don't. And this makes you think about something you had asked earlier. So my rheumatologist had put me on one of those cholesterol medications because I had hereditary high cholesterol, and it was okay when I was younger because I was more active. But as I got sick, I'm a sedentary a lot, and so when I was on that medication, I called and said, "This is bothering me," and her assistant said, "Well, you can just take it once every other day." And then I called her back. I said, "This is really eating at my skin. It's bringing me down. It's bothering me."
Yeah.
And she kept trying to convince me to take it. And someone else said, a friend of mine said, they bother me too. There are other medications you can have. So I wanted to speak to my rheumatologist instead of her assistant.
Exactly.
And I told her what was going on. And she said, "Well, there are other medications, but I can't prescribe it to you." And I said, "Why not?" And she said, "Because we don't have that. You would have to go to your primary physician."
What?
And I said, "Why didn't you tell me that before? Why didn't your assistant know that?"
Wow.
You're a rheumatologist, but you feel pain, and you keeping me on a medication that I'm telling you is causing me pain.
Yeah.
She's trying to tell me instead of doing it every day, do it every other day.
Right.
Pain is pain.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was frustrating. I did call my primary physician, and that same evening, he gave me one that does not affect me.
Oh my God, that's crazy. So this is what I'm talking about. This is what we need to start to get to handle on this. It's just people have had countless days and weeks and months of worrying and pain for no reason because of just lack of consistency, lack of follow through, lack of compassion. So I thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that. Yeah.
And something else. You could ask me about how I was feeling. One of the things I had to do was apply for disability.
Yeah.
That was really tough on me mentally because, you hear all the noise behind people who are on disability.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Stigma.
Yeah.
They don't want to work, and but people around me, they kept saying, "You need,"
Right.
and so getting to this, I kept hearing in my spirit, I kept hearing pride goes before destruction. Pride goes before destruction. And so one of my friends came over and completed the paperwork for me because I couldn't write, I couldn't do any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the legal system, that's a whole other thing, how they play with it. You have to wait at least a year. They're gonna reject you the first year. But if you go through an attorney, that attorney can just hold it for years and years if they want to. So I had to fight for that, and I won it by going through my congressman. I was elected twice, and then I went to my local congressman. What people don't know is that they have 45 days in your local congressman office to give you a yay or a nay. Disability, housing, and all kinds of things.
Okay. That's good information. I want to make sure we get that one highlighted. Okay. I don't want to run out of time, so we're going to answer a couple more questions. Okay. So you suffered a lot of finances, the situation, definitely changing your emotions. You were a woman that was, before you were self-sufficient, you were working. I'm just summing up, you were taking care of your children. All of a sudden you started experiencing this devastation of different types of physical, financial, everything was, you lose all these things. So it made you lose your self-esteem. And so what kept you going though? Because you had to be something that kept you going. What kept you going?
My faith.
There you go. Okay.
My faith and my children. I remember silently praying one time, God, please don't take me from my children.
Wow.
My faith.
Wow.
That's what keeps me going even now.
Wow.
My faith.
Good job. That's awesome. That's so awesome. Okay, now, couple more things. Did you ever experience any difficulty going through trying to get from one place to the next? For example, we're noticing that there's some places they're just not set up for, although it's supposed to be handicap accessible. There's certain things they don't even pay attention to or don't notice. Did you notice while you were starting to decline, how, you said, what's that? I can't go into this place, or I can't do this. And it was never before, you never thought about it. But now that you had some difficulty maybe walking or whatever, you notice some of these differences. And can you speak to any of that?
Oh, sure. So the newer model cars, that's the most recent thing, is that they have, when you change gears, you have to push this thing in on the side and then change the gear. That's difficult to me. I have to take my left arm and push it in with my left arm and then pull it back with my right arm.
Wow.
After a full drive. Or somebody's in the car with me, they change the gears for me while I drive.
Wow. Okay, that's good.
In and out of a car, opening up a heavy car door. Now I have people that put my seatbelt on.
Wow. Okay. So the heaviness of the door, the changing how the mechanics are with the cars, anything structural into buildings or anything like that, or going to on trips or anything like that. Do you notice anything like that?
No, because most of them are wheelchair accessible, and so they have wheelchairs. Now, I would say this in buildings where you can sit down, or even hospitals. I mean, modern hospitals, they have the chairs where you can sit down, but they don't have cushions in them.
Thank you. Good job. That's it. That's a good one. That's a real good one. Have you noticed where the distance you had to go to get to one location to the next? You ever suffered any of that to get into a building, like the distance for where the handicap parking was versus where you had to go in? Like before you started, when you was trying to walk with the walker, do you notice anything like that?
So for me, during that time, I was never able to go by myself. Someone was driving me. It was always like a wheelchair or something.
I got you.
Be off in the front door, and then they would go far.
Okay, I got you.
There's difficulty opening the door.
Yeah, that's my part. Open the door to get inside the building. If they drop you off, right?
And but it's now. I've seen a lot of them where they have the button that you push on the outside and the door opens for you.
But that was not always the case. Yeah, and that's not.
And it's still not always the case everywhere.
I was going to say that. That's not like that everywhere. Yeah, Okay. All right. So this may be like a morbid question, but I've been asking everyone this because I think it tells us a little bit about you and how your philosophy. So if you were to die and then you wanted to attach an epitaph, so epitaph is like something that kind of speaks to you, like that someone heard it would say, okay, yeah, that sounds like Jackie. Like, for example, my brother, he was a bishop, and he would say something like, grace and peace, dear ones, and it's just nice to be nice. That was definitely him. Everybody who know him knew he would say that. Me, I'm going to say it is what it is. That's mine. No doubt, no doubt. So, what would be yours? What would stand out for you? What would be yours?
I would say stay encouraged.
Stay encouraged.
Never give up.
Never give up.
Because the more you fight, the stronger you get.
Okay.
Can fight.
I got that. Stay encouraged.
Never give up. Never give up through your tears. I didn't say don't cry.
Right.
I didn't say don't be sad. I didn't say don't be mad.
Right.
But
right.
Don't you give
up. Wow. That's what I'm going to put for your chapter. Never give up. You can shed your tears, but don't you ever quit. Yeah.
Stay encouraged.
Stay encouraged. Got that. All right. Anything else you want to maybe suggest or add to anyone out there? Any positive statements that you might want to say to those who are experiencing some difficulties, or any recommendations you might want to make to those?
If you don't have someone, if you're not able to advocate for yourself, have someone that can advocate for you.
Good.
What I mean is have someone who can speak up and talk about your medication.
Good.
Someone who's watching you.
Good.
Because these medications, sometimes they affect you mentally.
Right.
And you will be thinking of feeling bad one day, and then when you get off the medication, it may be maybe a week or several weeks when the stuff is out of your system and you realize you're okay.
Yeah.
So if you could document that, or have someone that's advocating for you. You have someone that can go to the doctor's office with you and hear what the doctors are saying, and questions. Prepare your questions before you go, because you only have so much time.
Exactly.
So prepare your questions before you go and let them know.
Okay.
And have somebody who can research and advocate for you.
Sounds good. I love that. Sounds good. I thank you so much. You don't know how much you're going to be a blessing. Some people out there that you really don't know that how much you're going to be a blessing. I thank you for your for your time, for your vulnerability, for your bravery. I thank God for you. I'm very encouraged from listening to you. Okay.
I just want to say I thank you for this opportunity, and I thank you for doing that.
Oh, thank you.
For loving so many of us out here going through.
Thank you.
To be able to put the word out, to let people know that they're not alone.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Jackie. Have a blessed night, okay? Talk to you soon. Okay. Bye-bye.
I'd like to thank Jackie for coming on today. As I mentioned earlier, her story is so encouraging. She says, never give up. Stay encouraged, even through the tears. So I hope that helps someone out there. It really did minister to me. Also, too, I just want to leave some finishing points before we sign off today. We want to make sure everyone knows that whatever you might be going through, there is someone out there who wants to hear your story. So please get in touch with us. We would love to share your story. Also, too, the public needs to be aware of this information. If you can learn something from these episodes and then share with others, please do so. There are so many people working in the medical professions that just need to listen to some of these stories and say, you know what, how can I change my approach in my profession? Everyone making something different, doing something different, I should say, achieving change can help someone else, can help millions, one person at a time. Thank you so much again for tuning in. We will talk to you soon. Thank you for tuning in today at Let's Achieve Change. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You will find out more about Metanoia Education and Wellness Center on our website at changeachieve.com. We welcome your questions and your feedback. Please feel free to fill out the form on the website and we will contact you directly. I pray that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. Remember, it's all about the change. Thank you.